It's electric focus and the Jaguar I-PACE is back. So what was the final conclusion from Jaguar on the car going dead? Well, let's get into the video and find out. So following the recent issue I had with the Jaguar I-PACE where it was completely dead in the morning, and I had Jaguar out and I had a look at it, and they concluded that they thought that the electrics had been impacted by water ingress, which wasn't a surprise to me because I had booked the car to go in to have this water problem looked at. It just so happened before it went in, the whole car went down, all the electrics went off, and although the 12-volt battery is a fairly common problem on the Jaguar I-PACE, that was tested. It wasn't anything to do with, there's two in the Jaguar I-PACE, wasn't anything to do with either of those. So the conclusion was it was probably down to the water. Anyway, it went into Jaguar and I've been about it for about a week. I haven't been that bad off. I've had a nice Range Rover Evoque, which definitely pleased my wife because it's one of her favourite cars. But don't worry, I'm not going back to petrol. It was a petrol car, I think I told you in the last video, it's diesel, that was what I was told at the showroom, but it was only when I opened the capper it was actually petrol. So it was a petrol Range Rover Evoque. One thing I'd say about that car, if you like petrol, it's a lovely car and it's very, very comfortable. I have to say more comfortable than the Jag. But when I did get back into the Jag, I realised it's such a different car. I mean, the performance of the Jag is like a sports car, really. You know, it is like getting in from a comfortable car into a sports car, and you still get relatively good comfort in the Jaguar as well, so you get both. But it was a bit of a novelty having a petrol car for a while. One thing I would say, and I think this is worth mentioning, is how much I spent on petrol. It was a long time since I had to buy petrol, and I had to do a few trips. So I did do around 700 miles over the last week, and I spent around, let's have a look, £149.13 on petrol. So that was around 21 pence a mile. Now let's compare that to what I pay at home, because I do most of my charging at home, and I average around 2.7 pence per mile when I'm charging at home. So that money I spent on petrol is equivalent to over 5,500 miles of electric range. So that money I spent in just that 1 week is equivalent to 5,500 miles of electric range. So that's pretty compelling if you're talking to anybody about the difference between cost of petrol and cost of electric if you can charge at home. Anyway, let's get on to the final diagnosis of the Jaguar I-PACE. So, as we thought, they have concluded that it is down to the water ingress that caused the electrics to go down. So they said that there was a leak on the front screen and that it was a manufacturing issue. So that was interesting after 3 years, but that's starting to happen. But the water had got into the electrics by running through that area, also down through the car, which is why I saw it in other areas of the car as well. So if you've got a Jaguar I-PACE and you see a bit of damp in your frunk, then I wouldn't take it for granted that that's just a bit of condensation. And you know, I did leave it for a bit thinking that it might be just down to condensation or something when I first saw it. But when I saw other areas of the car with water coming in, then it really did make me think, well, there's something not right here. And then that's when I put it into Jaguar to have it looked at. But you know, before it went in, the car went down because of the water in the electric. So that's a big warning. If you see some damp in the front trunk, then I would get it into Jaguar straight away to get it looked at, because it could be the same issue. So it's great to have the car back after only having to wait a week. So pretty good service all round, and the car seems absolutely fine. No signs of water. Everything's working perfectly. So that's it. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll speak to you soon.